Hi everyone, welcome back. Today, well, this car is going out. That one's doing something. But we're also bringing in a third. If you are new to the channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for tuning in as well. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so and tell your friends, family, or whoever you think may enjoy race cars, automotive stuff, because it's coming eventually, engineering, fabricating, mechanicery, tomfoolery. Whatever happens on this channel happens. So if you think they'd enjoy it, send them my way. It would help me a ton with getting Google to send me ad revenue for selling ads and other stuff to you people while using my likeness and intellectual property. So that's the business end taken care of. This car you saw in the last video is pretty much complete. And I can also announce at this point that it is also for sale. If you or someone you know would like this car, please comment, find me on Facebook, or I'm also on Instagram and Twitter, or actually it's X now. I'll put that down here as a link, or not even a link, as a way for you guys to find me. It's also linked in my show notes, I'm pretty sure, in every episode, so take a look there as well, so you can get a hold of me that way. Also, what's going to happen in this video is we're actually going to turn the clock back a few weeks, actually, because what's happening now is that this car is going outside or wherever. It might go to another garage. I don't even know at this point. And my brother's car is coming here because we have to finish the body and do engine work and other stuff to get it ready for the Northeast Classic, which is taking place second week of April in New Hampshire Motor Speedway, which is where the NASCAR Cup Series races. And we've done this event before. We've done it on the channel. Maybe I'll remember to put it up in the corner there so you could check that out. That was a couple years ago. And we had a lot of fun. We really did. I wish I could have had more people helping me film, but it was kind of just us two and my GoPro died. So that was kind of lame, but this year proves to be a little different. However, we've got a lot of work ahead of us. And I've literally got the Stafford car opened up so that I can de-winterize it. I have to set the valves. I have to put the distributor in it. I have to do all this work so that I can move the trailer forward into the mud heap of my driveway, sink that, and then pull the car out, take pictures of it so I can get decals done for my sponsor, then shove it back in the box and drag its, now muddy carcass back over here. So there's the plan. I'll show you the videos of what transpired before my brother's car came here, and then we'll get it here. We're gonna work on this thing over the next few weeks and see what we can do to get this thing ready. I got that body for this thing sitting outside under 4 or 5 inches of slush and garbage. So we're gonna have to dust it off and see if we can't get it on here. Currently it is Redneck New Year as the Daytona 500 is going on. We'll see how long it takes us to put this body on this car, but
Happy Redneck New Year, the beast is going around the track.
it certainly is. We've got plans right now are gonna be strip the body. There's a bunch of stuff under here that we gotta repair anyway, like
You want to take a look at some of the shitty workmanship I did?
oh, I'll take a look at any kind of workmanship you got.
Look, I made it sealed so the air can't get into it. So
Let's take a look at that.
Flex seal going through there.
You flex sealed the window to the roof?
Yes,
Oh.
I didn't want that bead there, and I was too lazy to make a new flange here, so.
Well, I mean, we're making do with the little parts we have. I mean, we just took this is a steel roof, isn't it?
Yeah, it's only like a couple pounds heavier than a fiberglass
yeah.
one, so it's like, all right, well, that won't hurt nothing too much, but.
Man, you don't see steel roofs no more.
No, look, it's still got the rain channel.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's tremendous. So if you're in a rain delay, at least it won't roll into the window on you.
I hate when shit drips on me in a rain.
Oh, it is horrible. But yeah, you got this killer window in the back. It sucks that we're getting, well, rid of the body. He's probably going to keep that.
He's supposed to angle these off, but I wanted it round
Yeah.
So all the, all the air pouring to the redneck wind tunnel flexes it in and it goes in onto the rear spoiler.
Yeah, when we put this thing together a few years ago for the...
See, Harvard got in trouble a few years ago for having a flexible window.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to do.
Well, that's what we did.
Yes.
But we did a nice job putting this thing in here, especially for how little we had. But this thing's all coming apart. We're gonna grab some drills and start drilling rivets, start pulling things together.
I need to get more I need to get more sponsorship logos.
Yeah. YouTube's gonna have a field day with that one. But we gotta fix the back bumper, got stoved in at Thompson. And I think the fuel cell bar got ripped off because he got shoved when the whole line stacked up in front of you, I think, and then broke all the rear end parts. And yeah, that's the New Hampshire rear. So yeah, let's get this thing, put the time lapse. Let's start taking this thing apart, see what's underneath it. The car is pretty much stripped. Said it would take an hour, took a few, which is typical. So what do you think, Jess?
Well, yeah, you take however long you think you're going to be able to do it, multiply it times 4, and then you're good to go, especially in what looks like a hoarder's garage. If you look at this.
Have you seen my garage?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, seeing the car naked again, it's the first time we've seen it like this in forever. Golly.
Yeah, you knock all the rubber out of it, and it's probably going to lose a little weight, too.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we can really fix.
Lose a few pounds.
Yeah, this thing, there's a lot of stuff that we can go through and fix on this thing.
This thing is almost a Super X car. And it wasn't that long ago when this thing was a street stock.
Yeah, this is a throwback to a very bygone era, this old thing.
Blur my suspension out.
Oh, we can't show secrets. Oh, yeah, okay. Like I said, this thing is a throwback to a bygone era. Back when we used to weld things onto them. Now we've used pop rivets for pretty much everything. And there's so much that I would fix on this car if I had the time and resources. But man, it's served us really well. I mean, it's won races. And when it got pulled out of the weeds, for God's sakes, and we used a Thompson-style car to go to New Hampshire against a bunch of open cars and finish 10th. So, yeah, she's naked. We got
do it again.
And we are. I'd love to stick a cam in this motor and just send it. We're going to have to flush her out, do a little bit more of suspension work, and we'll have this thing ready, but that'll have to wait for another day because we're going to go upstairs, watch the remainder of the Daytona 500 if they ever get that thing going from the rain. And
Born to be mild.
Yeah, we'll go watch the fuel-saving 500.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next week to work on this thing again. All right, it's a week later, and I'm back in the other shop looking at this old body that we're going to be putting on here. Well, it's not old, it's just used. I'm trying to figure out a plan. I got this car, pretty well cleaned off, except for the stuff up there, but let me show you what I'm trying to think about here. See, we got a street stock kind of car. It's older. I think it was built in the early to mid-90s as a Stafford late model. So it's kind of built for one of these kinds of aftermarket bodies, sort of, but not this type. I mean, this is a sportsman kind of body. So some of the roof is integrated in the quarters, right? So what we're going to have to figure out is which way do we work, top down or sides first? I'm thinking probably top down so that we can see if we got to space the roof up at all. But I'm thinking probably do the roof and the rear quarters and then get everything kind of positioned to where it should be, or to where it should be, and then probably move our way forward and backwards from there. I mean, stuff like the hood and everything, that can come later, but we got to figure all this stuff out first. Let's see what we can dig out here, I guess. Might have to blow some of this ice off. Oh, and I'm getting dripped on. That is just uncool. Okay. right rear looks, I don't know, pretty great. I don't know. I was ready. Okay, which one's the, oh, we knew this ice was going to be a problem. We just didn't get it done quick enough. Ooh. Of course, there has to be an ice runway here right as I'm getting in. That's good. I gotta brush these off, fall down in the ice again, and I just need the other quarter and it's buried in there, so this will be fun to get out. Oh. Hope I don't hurt anything here. Wow. That's a beautiful bird right there. He's still circling. Wow. That hawk was like the size of a small cat. Well, nothing fell off. That's good. We're going to be doing some patchwork to these, but that's okay. I think we expected that when we got it for free, which I appreciate so much. All right, let's clean these things off. Well, I got the majority of the snow off of this thing. Let's see if this goes even close to on this thing. Oh, please don't let me hit my drink. Welcome to the Tim Allen grunting part of the program, apparently. Ugh. Oh, right in my face. You know, if that's where it goes, that ain't too bad. It's right on the bars. Right, ooh. It's right, yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be too bad. We could actually work with this. I could trim this here, let this fall into that, and on the same, dang, I could do the same on the other side. So this would actually be pretty good. It's not going to go anywhere though, because it's literally on the cage. So probably have to hack these off. Might have to trim some over here, but there's a lot of stuff that we can trim, so it's not really a huge deal. But this, preliminarily, looks honestly not bad. I think we can, what I should do is go grab the cowl for this. Oh, there's a couple rivets I still got to clear. Grab the cowl, see how that fits, and then see how this little tray or dashboard section fits. Getting her kind of adjusted and moved, and we're eyeballing what needs to be cut off and what needs to go on. But we have other big issues with this thing. I mean, you sit here and look at it and it's like, ooh, that's really nice. Well, this car is old and built in a different time, like I'd said before. And apparently that time was not for these kinds of bodies. So the problem we're running into is that I'm tripping over wheels. Go over there, little friend. This body is so far set back that It's just, I have to run this thing as far back as possible to even have this wheel well be even close to centered, which at this point, it's still not. I think it still has to come back more, but it can't. And in order for it to come down, like, look at how high up it is in the front. If you sat in that seat, you'd have a real problem seeing the front of your car. And I mean a real problem. We're going to have to figure something out. And I don't know what it is, but that is not good. The only thing I could really do to fix this is, dang, bend a new hoop in the cage and stop it here and run a longer, you know, that's not good. So I'm starting to wonder if this body is feasible. And I mean, the front we can get to fix. That's okay. We can fix this front end. You know, we can trim a lot of this stuff off. Like all of this all janky, you know, bygone era stuff can be cut off, especially all of this and stuff. Like we can cut this off, that off, this off to here, and then the front fenders would kind of go down here like that, but like you see there's just a lot of excess, and the front fenders and all the clearance there, it's not an issue. The issue is the roof. I didn't foresee this, and that's the issue with doing this with old cars, and man, it stinks. Because it would look really, really cool. It's just that we're really having problems here. So I'm going to have to put our brains together. I'm going to need more than one brain here. And we're going to have to try to figure something out because this is not acceptable in any way. Maybe I'll just, you know what? Maybe I can have him or me sit in the car. We'll trim it where it's touching so that we can get it back further to get it lined up. See if it relaxes this part, because this might come back down a little bit. And that, if we can get that down just a hair, that would be great. But the problem, again, is the fact that the windshield would be poking out of there. So, gonna have to get a little bit of brain power on this one. All right, so we had a meeting of the minds, and here's what we came up with, and I'm in agreement 100% here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just cut this body right here on the quarter panel, slide the quarter panel back a little bit, and push the roof back forward so that it actually sits this down and gets out of the way of that. The only issue with that is that we have to, well, essentially leave the window opening alone. We can't move this, but we have to be able to get the quarter panel to center over the rear tire. So that's going to take, God, probably about that much, probably about 8-10 inches of moving it back to get that thing to actually seat properly. So that's going to move this back. We're going to have to fudge something over here to get this panel to line up as well. We're just going to rivet aluminum to it and hope for the best, because it just doesn't fit this car. We just have to make it work. The rear window opening is going to be the same. A lot of this is going to be the same. It's just that we have to cut and fudge. The front, what we're going to do is, well, the way we're going to take that up, I should say first, is we're going to take the door and we're going to add a strip to the back half of the door so that it'll take up that, at least this portion here. So that'll be okay. Front fenders, that'll be pretty easy. We'll just trim the edge that lines up with the roof and front cowl so that it actually will just slide right on. Then the door will bolt straight over that. That won't be too big of an issue. The nose will clearly fit on whatever is left of these front fenders, which I have to repair. And the hood will fit on the front edge, but it won't fit the back edge probably because we had to slide it back. So we'll just line wherever the roof or the hood lines up, trim it, and just that'll have to be it. So right now we're kind of doing stuff that we have to anyway because the car needs some weights moved. It's easier to do with the body off. We're going to start trimming stuff, and I am going to go through and start repairing some of this with some aluminum and pop rivets and duct tape, and hopefully that'll be good enough. So we're running into the same problem that I have with my old car. It's, well, we're out of parts and stuff. So we got a plan, which is really kind of half the battle. And I think it's going to work. We're kind of going through and just repairing stuff as we go, like fenders and cleaning them up and putting some rivets in them because they are a little beat up, but they're stronger now than they were before. We're making a plan for the bumpers. We got the back one coming off. We got the roof kind of where we want it.
Trust the plan, Dutch.
Yeah. I have a plan.
Tahiti.
And so we got a list. We got some stuff we're gonna buy, and we're gonna need a few things. Like I have to go back to the other shop and make a few little things, and we're gonna have to hand bend some stuff for the back to try to get those fenders to fit. And like I said, it's all part of the plan, but we're gonna have to quit for the night because we don't really have a heck of a lot we can do except ship the stuff out of the ice. But plan's half the battle, so we'll come back to it next time. All right, back for another week of work. We got, well, it looks the same. But we got some stuff here. I got some sheet metal and my bender, straight edge, tape measures, tape, which we're definitely gonna need, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna section this rear quarter right along the body line, hopefully get the front correct because there's this weird one here. But we're gonna try to stay on the upper edge. Maybe if I got to, I'll bend it with a hammer, but we're gonna cut 3-inch strips, and I got like 4-foot long sheet metal because the bender will only handle that much. So we'll have to overlap, but we're gonna have to cut it, slide the whole thing back, and hopefully get this thing to actually sit properly in the wheel well. We're gonna have to make patch panels, but that's fine. We got aluminum to do that, and hopefully it works out. But
People may ask, why would we not just make the wheel well bigger?
well, we can't because of the body lines.
Yeah.
See the
Can't make the wheel well bigger. You can't cut that out.
yeah, we can't move that because it's just gonna look kind of dumb if we do. We'd be making a wheel well here, and it would go right through the middle of that one.
Plus
so
you got
it doesn't
this
really
angle
work.
here where it's a little more structural anyway.
Yeah, we need that structure on the side to kind of keep it from distending. Gonna be easier said than done, but I got my shrinker stretcher. We're gonna bend a piece of sheet metal. It's not gonna be aluminum, it's actually gonna be steel, so it'll be a little stronger. And we'll see what happens. Oh, it's getting real because it's not very often you take a few $100 item like this quarter panel and just take a cutting wheel to it and just say, I'll fix it. This flanged edge, they'll tell you what, I didn't do such a bad job, I don't think. Might need to be flared down a little bit, like we'll roll it down, but this thing needs to be back, like, let me show you how much it has to go back, because let's see, the center of the wheel arch is about there-ish, I think. So it had to go back that far, which kind of sucks. I wish I didn't have to do this, but with this car and the way it's built, I kind of do. So that's about right there, I think. We could also trim a little bit of this wheel arch right here on this edge. It looks like it could be cut out a little more. So it's about, like I said, I want to say about 6-8 inches. I'd say more like 7 or 8. Over here, yeah, it's gonna bleed over the edge, but again, we're gonna need to build a panel about as long as that as well. But I gotta use 2 hands to kind of put this thing on and get back to it. honestly, I expected way worse, and it's coming along pretty well. You know, a lot of this work is all in the metal and getting it to meet up properly, and obviously it's not perfect. It's probably not cut perfect, and it's probably not bent perfect, but you know what? You look down the side of the car, and the body lines are still there. You know, we just got to kind of adjust it a little bit when we put the bumpers on and everything. But from, you know, you throw a coat of spray paint on her or a slab of duct tape to cover that up, and you'll never notice, to be honest with you. So this side's done. We just got to make this panel, which we'll make when we need to put the door on. We have to make this panel, which we'll make when we put the tail on. Then it's just going to be, well, for now, rinse and repeat on the other side. So like I said, we'll throw a strip of Gorilla Tape over it or something just to make it look halfway decent. As a matter of fact, I got some. I'll try it before we leave, but I think that's going to end it for today because unfortunately, I don't have any like respirator or anything like that, like mask to do the fiberglass work. And my back is killing me from working on my car. So basic theory is down. So we'll just do that next time on the other side. And when I come back next week, hopefully we got a little bit more of an idea of what we're doing. We're going to have to cut this front bumper off and do a whole bunch more stuff. So there's a lot left to do. So, well, I guess I'll see you in a week. Yeah, that covered up all sorts of sins. All right. Duly noted for next time. And that's led us to this moment where we've spent way too long trying to fix the truck and forgot that it has, well, let me just backtrack that. We had plug issues with the trailer plug. And I forgot that there's a second one in the bed because this thing used to haul goosenecks. So we plugged it in there and magically it works again. So, plus the trailer sat for years and it had brakes locked up, so we fixed that.
I don't need to bounce down the highway.
No, it doesn't need to come out. We did get this thing running though, and in pretty short order too. And it's, I don't know, everything seems to work, charges, makes great oil pressure, flows water. Can't ask for much more. We're gonna roll it out into the trailer that it ain't been on in years, and
I have to get in.
Jesse's got to get in, and we'll enjoy a little bit of nostalgia.
This
So
dignity.
here's the indignity. This is actually
Oh, I've had a growth spurt
well, this is
since the last time I was in here.
well, this is information gaining for me. I need to figure out what we're gonna do.
I did it.
How's the seat?
Oh, it shrunk.
Not
I mean-
not exactly what I expected, but
I mean, that's exactly what I expected. I hit a growth spurt during my convalescence,
oh yeah, your foot surgery.
my foot surgery.
Well, it's time
And
to
then
hit
I
the
grew about 40 pounds. Okay,
well, it's time to hit the treadmill, dude.
I know.
All right, let's get this thing loaded up.
No, it hurts.
Yeah, I know it hurts, but it'll stop hurting eventually. What?
We need to hook the throttle up.
Oh, god dang it. Okay, now that he has full control, I think.
I can pump it, baby.
Hey, yeah, sounds like it's got fuel. Let's get it.
What happened to the pedal?
Gas pedal?
Yeah.
Oh, you've always used the top of it for some reason. Oh yeah, for some reason you've had a toe catch pedal, but you've only ever used the top part of it. I don't know why that is.
We are in contact.
I can't believe how well that thing runs. It won't idle because, you know, open motor life. forget how loud this thing is. It's about as loud as my Thompson car is. This thing is such a throwback relic, it's hilarious. You sure you don't want to run my car? The window's bigger.
Dignity. My dignity is back in the garage.
It's out though. It's seen the light of day for the first time in years.
I can't breathe.
There's grass from Thompson still all over it.
I can't breathe. My left arm is numb.
Well, maybe I'll have to drive then.
I need to not eat ever again.
Oh yeah, we gotta fix that throttle. He's probably not even getting full throttle. Oh, okay. I don't know how the shifter works.
Oh, it smells bad.
It's just old gas and clutch.
Ugh.
Because this thing got hit really hard at Thompson the last time it was out. And broke the rear end. So I guarantee you something's broken in the transmission too. It moves, but it sounds like grinding rocks when it's in neutral. It's real bad. But check it out. It's back. So this car, I don't know if I ever actually told the story of this car on this channel. It looks janky, and it really kind of is. I'll show you the close-ups later, but this car is, it's a fun one. We had the basic chassis, tin work and everything, sitting in the back of my dad's yard for 20 years out in the elements or something like that. It was just a yard car. And I had gotten annoyed to the point where I wanted to leave the current division that I was in. I was in mini stocks from, I want to say 08 to early 2013. And I had blown too many motors up and had too much bad luck. I said, okay, this is utterly ridiculous. We're not going to do this no more. And I sold it to buy an engagement ring for my now wife. And I had this car sit in the yard. I said, okay, why don't we just build that into a street stock, because my brother was racing those, and well, we had parts and we had a knowledge base and we had all the stuff to do it. So I said, all right. So I think the story was there was a spare car at my uncle's house, because this was a late model. I couldn't use the rear tray and chassis like suspension pickups for it because it was a 3-link and I needed a 4-link chassis, and the front clip was bent in it. So I took this spare car that was upside down at my uncle's house. I took it and hooked onto my dad's tractor, and I didn't flip it over. I dragged it upside down across my uncle's yard, through the woods, down his driveway, across the street, into my dad's driveway, down the driveway, and then left it there. Took a torch, cut the chassis from the body mounts off, and lifted the frame out of the car. And I cut this cage off, and I dropped the whole thing onto a new chassis, or new frame, I should say. And here it is. It's been raced. It's been raced hard. It's been beaten pretty severely. It's got a fresh rear clip. We've done a front clip because my brother ate the turn one wall pretty hard. Probably the hardest hit of his life, and it's the most damage I've ever seen in a car. And then he won races after we jankily put it back together. A lot of stories. Like, I took this car out to the road course race that the old fledgling, no longer existent New England Street Stock Tour put on at Thompson Speedway on the road course. So I've road coursed this car, and we were doing like 145 miles an hour down the straightaway, and it was hilarious fun until I blew both the transmission and the rear end. So that was a little expensive, but otherwise it was a good time. We've done a lot of things with this car, and we've even been to New Hampshire once with it, and that's what we're going to do this time. I'm going to get this body unloaded, get everything put in with some semblance of order, and at least get this thing out from the very edge of my shop. You know, my wife just reminded me of something. When we moved here to this shop and this house, clearly I have to live somewhere other than in the garage. This was actually my car at the time. And I know I've said that on the channel a bunch about how, you know, I was in racing and then out of racing because of us having a kid and, you know, stress and money situations. And I sold this very car to my dad and my trailer too. And I got the trailer back after he died. And this car is still my brother's car because he junked his and he needed one for, you know, his own purposes. Now it's back home where it started. That's kind of fun. Man, I'm looking at this thing and it's been through war. Oh my God.
We moved here.
It was the first thing we moved here. I forgot about that. It's just kind of fun, you know, thinking about the homecoming of this thing. I don't know if it's ever been back since I sold it. No, I don't think so. I don't think it's ever been back. We'll hose the mouse droppings and pee off of it and get her cleaned up and get working. All right, welcome to Brent's race car repair shop, apparently, because I got 3 cars here now and a 1-car garage. That's okay. We got the red car outside under a tarp and a blanket. Stafford cars in the locked up trailer. And this thing, I got the basic idea of what we're going to be doing. So what we're going to do is, mind the pizza crust. We have to put the body on, clearly. But that's kind of ancillary to the second point. The second point is this car needs a cam swap because this cam's too small. This is an old cam. They don't even use that rule anymore. It's a 390 410 lift cam. We're going to a 450 lift cam. I got it over on the shelf. We got new lifters. We're going to have to get some oil. But we're going to flush this radiator out while we have it out. I got to pull all the extra accessories and belts off and stuff. And move them all to the side, drain the water, and just start disassembling because I got to get this thing done ASAP. And usually don't work on Sundays, but today, well, I am. Darker every minute, but we got her mostly torn down. I'm a little bit concerned with the timing chain because there is a little bit of play, but to be honest with you, there isn't a lot on the other side. So it's like, well, I don't know if I should really be concerned. It's a double roller and we never use it. So I'm thinking about just, you know, it's probably within tolerance. What sucks is that I goobered the gasket. That sucks. So there'll be a lot of me crawling under the car, loosening the oil pan again because I should have did that in the first place or probably pulled the motor out, but I don't really have a hell of a lot of time to be working on this thing. And sliding that back in with pretty much every ounce of brake cleaner and then RTV that I have. And it should be okay. If not, we'll just goop it until it stops leaking. Intake's about to come off. We got to figure, well, how to do that. This is literally all I can do it with. It's all 12.0. I didn't loosen that one. That's loose already. How many are as well? Oh, that one's loose too. Okay. Again, I haven't put a wrench to this yet. Yeah, that was like barely tight. Okay, that one's tight. That's good. These 1, 2, 3 were like finger tight. Let's see if this one moves. Now we're playing a game. Okay, that was fairly tight. Not very, but that one, I might have loosened that one already. I'm not too sure. So, yeah, if you're running one of these motors, don't be afraid to just throw a wrench on there every once in a while and tighten them up again, because hot-cold cycles, vibration, they can loosen things up. But the intake is about ready to come out. Oh, yeah, I forgot I got to pull the valve covers and loosen the rocker so I can get the push rods out so that I can pull the lifters out. Okay, well, that'll be done at some point, but I'm still working. So we got the motor torn down pretty much as far as it needs to go. We got to pull the lifters out. I'm inspecting it for any sort of damage or any water, anything foreign, just bad, whatever's noticeably bad, right? We're going to have to pull this apart, the cam. They got a lock on it. They got the cam button. We got to make sure we don't lose any of that stuff. I got it set to whatever they set it at 0. There is an adjustable lower on it. And the cam gear, I think it's set to 2 advanced. So I was talking to my brother about settings. We were kind of wondering where to put it in at, and I think if I put it at 0, it'll probably be in the right rev range, according to the cam card on the cam that we bought. So, especially because we're only going to be running this thing mostly at New Hampshire. But I'm thinking, well, you don't want to go too far, but you don't want to do too much. You don't want it to be out of steam halfway down the straightaway, and you don't want to pick up, 3/4 of the way down the straightaway so that you waste, the whole damn run. So I'm going to pull the lifters out, make sure there's no physical damage, nothing's wiped out, nothing too severe. Then I'm going to start reassembly. Well, it happens to the best and the worst of us sometimes. I was sitting here like, why ain't the cam coming out? And then I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't pull the fuel pump off, so the eccentric is still hitting that little guy and not allowing it to go anywhere. If I could face palm loud enough for you to hear me, I would. So I'm going to drag all these lifters out. Here's the cam. I'm just kind of inspecting on her, and boy, you know what? She looks good. Looks good. Every lifter looked really good. She's just a good piece. I'll show you the specs like I'm talking about on the cam. By the way, apparently if you live in California and you use this on a public road and not like for race use only, you're subject to a $37,500 fine or up to a $45,268 fine. Because, that's the only state in the country where you're not allowed to do things. Anyway, my brother bought a good brand here. Nice comp. Decent piece. It's got a big book here. Let's see. Let's see if I can dig the cam card out here. Ooh, stickers. MSDS sheets. Don't need that. The card. Yeah, it doesn't really tell you the rev range, but if you buy it, it tells you what kind of rev range you're looking at. And it said, works great from, I don't remember what they said, 4,000 to 6,000. And I'm like, well, that's the thing. because this engine with the gear rule is only going to run about, let's just say, 6,000. So that's pretty much all we're going to do. And I figure if I stick it straight up, it'll be pretty much dead on. So I'm looking for some cam lube. There it is. All right, we're going to use that. Chuck this thing in, throw some lifters in, and then I think we're going to drape something over it because we're going to run out of time tonight. I got as far as I could. Cam and lifters are in. I greased or gooped or whatever the hell the stuff is that they give you. Everything that I had. I'm gonna put this damn thing. And I know people are probably saying, why didn't you soak your lifters? And it's like, you really don't need to, because what you're doing is you're just putting them in a cup of oil and just kind of hoping that the air comes out. But when you just kind of, I put assembly lube on them, especially the face, so that they, also do not go in with just oil or dry. They have a lot more tendency to lubricate. It's a lot more sticky and viscous. What I do is I assemble it, and then I just stick a drill in and prime the motor when we got the break-in oil in, and prime the heck out of it, and I roll it over by hand with a wrench or with the starter and just kind of click it over and just kind of change the orientation of the crank. And you'll watch the oil pressure fill up, and then you just keep going until it comes out the top end, and, well, then your lifters are pumped up. So what was the point of putting it in a can, right? Anyway, it's very lubricated, and I'm just going to leave it until we get some break-in oil, and I can fix that seal and get the thing gooped up and put it back together. So with that being the plan, I really got to get this thing done as soon as possible. And I'm actually starting early. This is a Sunday. I usually don't even work on it until Monday or Tuesday. But I'm starting a couple days early. And we're already doing pretty well if everything goes accordingly. So we're going as quickly as possible, but as safely as possible. So, all right. Plan for tomorrow is exactly what I told you, so I'll see you then. It's another lovely day. I finally got back out here. I had to take yesterday off. I was too busy, but we're going to be doing some gasket repair and seating and scraping, I guess, because we need to get this thing back together. Luckily, I never pulled the cylinder heads off. I was actually kind of thinking of giving all of the cylinder head bolts a little torquing, but then I remembered that the headers are in the way, and so that told me that they're probably fine. I'm going to take whatever goop off of this thing that I can, scrape what I can, clean what I can, re-goop whatever I've got left. So hopefully that this thing is now at least mechanically together. It can go fully together, and we don't have to worry about that. Then we can dump some oil in it. And then I really hate, but I have to do break-ins. Worst part of engine work at all is doing break-ins. Everybody can attest to that. It's super duper stressful for no good reason. So enough, we got to get to this. So let's go do it. That could have gone better. By the looks of things, it also could have gone worse. I've got RTV everywhere. And it was way worse before, but now it's not so bad, even though it is kind of bad. I still got to put the front drive accessories on. I got to put the harmonic balancer in. I got to do all sorts of stuff. I did put a new seal around there. I did put a new gasket. I gooped everything. I got new gaskets in the intake. Luckily, they came with the little block-offs for the crossover already installed in them. That was pretty cool. I got some RTV on the China walls because I know people would yell at me if I used cork, and I would never use cork anyway. So we got this cleaning up, and the floor is disgusting. Everything's disgusting except for that, and that's the good part. So just waiting on some break-in oil, but we also got to get the front drive on. I should drain the block of all the remaining whatever water was in there because it is disgusting. But we still got a lot to do here just to put it back together before we even get to starting it. I'm hoping to get this thing running within the next couple days because it has to. In 2 days, I got a day off, and I'd really love to be able to run this thing during the day and have it, you know, at a time when my neighbors aren't home so that I don't annoy them with 20 minutes of a barely mufflered race car running for a long time to break this thing in. And hopefully we can get that ready. I'll give a call to my brother and get some parts up here, and we'll get this thing going. Tomorrow should be the day where I button it up, and really hoping to at least, and we can get this thing going. But I got to get out of here tonight. I have league night yet again, and we're actually starting points racing now, and I can't imagine that ending very well. So we'll just give that a shot, and hopefully nobody gets into an argument, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, I got to take a moment and just kind of chill out. You know, I know there's deadlines, I know there's things going on, but it's like, okay, I know you got a lot going on, but you just gotta take a minute. I had to do the math on how long it is before this car needs to race. And it's literally 3 weeks. I should be able to get the, let's see, I'm looking at it right now. I should get the motor buttoned up tonight and start it again on the body today because I don't have the oil or the water that's necessary to have this thing broken in yet. So it's basically a moment of, okay, even if we get it buttoned up, we don't have to run it before we move on. It's kind of a situation where it's like, okay, once that's done, if we don't have the oil or the water yet, we can just kind of keep piecing it together and work on the body. The body has to get done. The motor being done doesn't mean the body can't get done. So that's what we're going to do. I know there's not a lot of humor. I know there's not a lot of witticisms or a lot of real fun stuff going on in this episode right now, but I'm kind of stuck in work mode. I'm just kind of working through the motions, and I'm like, okay, look, we got to get this dang thing done. No messing around. I've already run into problems. I've already covered the thing in goop. I've already torn through all the gloves that I own. So it's basically a point of, okay, just head down and start working. Let's get this thing done and bug my brother for parts in a minute. I don't think I'll ever complain about having racing related parts ever again. Because this thing, you know, I've said it before and I'll say it as long as I live. This car is the product of a bygone era. And part of that bygone era is kind of my dad, but, you know, that's why I feel bad about saying it, but this is kind of what it is. I mean, nobody in racing really uses stock parts no more. I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on out there. Not my concern, hopefully. Anyway, I did convert this car over to be semi-race parts, except for the fact that this thing still uses a long water pump. The lower pulley looks like it's been in an accident at some point, but it's not bent. This is a stock alternator, which personally I don't like because this post is wiggling. I might have to let my brother know about that one because I don't think I have a replacement for that unless we really start getting clever. And we could, because I found a bracket for one of my one-wire mounts. But I don't think I can space it out enough to make it line up with this. So we'll maybe revisit this in the future. Meeting, a week before we race. We'll figure that out. This thing got worked. I might be putting a new connection on that. This thing got worked. I don't know what happened there, but again, we're just piecing it together. I got to take a break because my back really, really hurts. And I'm going to take a look at, the radiator mount and all sorts of other stuff, and I'll get back to you. So when I was loading this car, I noticed that the throttle pedal was kind of stuck to the floor because it's one of these toe catch type. And I'd show you, but I'm kind of busy holding this for demonstration purposes because I don't want to pour any more fuel into the car than one squirt. This is as far as it opens. That's not wide open throttle. That's like 3/4 throttle. So I don't know how many times my brother's driven this car, but it doesn't get full throttle. We're going to fix that. It's kind of janky, but I did make a solution for this throttle rod here. And all I did was cut it off, slide it down, weld it on both sides. I mean, it's a lot more stiff, I guess. That's a bad word. It's a lot more solid, let's put it that way, than you would think. I mean, this is a throttle. You're really just doing this with your foot. If you're doing anything like structurally with this, you're doing it wrong. So the transmission is another issue. That won't go into gear properly, and I don't know what happened, but he did last time we drove this car. It was the World Series at Thompson a few years ago. There was a wreck in front of him. He pooched somebody in the back end. He also got hit by somebody else that lifted the rear end of the car off the ground. And when it came back down, the rear end exploded, which I've definitely shown you in a previous episode. I think I was doing something with that. And that's why the rear end is in, actually it's in the red car there. It was a different gear ratio than I wanted, but it made it work. This car, like I said, that rear was in it, shattered. Now the transmission is making pretty terrible noises when we're running and trying to move it. It does move, but I think in second and third gear there's issues. It does move, but I think something happened with the shifter linkage itself or shifter dogs inside the transmission. So this thing's got to come out. It won't even shift second or third gear or anything. It used to be kind of difficult before. Now it's completely impossible. So that has to come out. And man, this workload just keeps increasing. I'm slowly getting to the point where I'm not going to finish this car without help because I still got to put a whole body on this thing. I have to fabricate the body mounts. I have to do the fuel cell bar. I have to do the bumpers. I have to fabricate literally everything. And I can't do all this by myself in 3 weeks, I think, because, I need every day to count. And it's like, I find a problem, and now I have to fix that problem, and that problem wasn't on the list. That's the problems we're having right now, is that we're finding things that aren't here that we didn't want to have to fix. That sucks. So, all right, I guess I'm just going to have to keep plugging away at it and hope for the best because, I'm not sure what to do next, and that's the issue. It's like, we can't go anywhere without a body. We also can't go anywhere without a transmission. So do I wait for help and have somebody else do the transmission, or do I just start on the body because I'm the one doing that? I just got to do something. I needed to lighten the car up and make my life a little easier for prep work, and my camera died. So while that was charging, I went ahead and finished the fuel cell saver bar and safety unit down there and made a jack point and everything for it, because that's how I build these now. Made a couple more little quickie alterations. I might have to hop underneath this one, the bumper bar here, because that's not welded very well. And, well, it just wasn't where it needed to be. So I got to hop underneath and make sure I get that all the way so that there's some support for the bumper. She's gross. Needs a lot of work just to clean it up and make it look better again. But at this point, we don't really have time to sit here and grind down old welds. You know, we don't have that time. So I think I might just pass over them with a flap disc to make them not sharp in case I'm reaching back here for some reason. But this is coming along, and we got to just keep rolling because we have way too much to do. All right, I was a little bit busy off camera trying to put this thing together and then feeling fiberglass go directly into my finger. So now my finger hurts, but I can't see where. So that's great. I have to now mirror this side like I did that side. And this is all the hard stuff. If we can get through this quickly, then we actually have some kind of a chance at getting this thing done and on the racetrack. Now, the other issue is that we don't have any rocker panels with this car. Might have to go searching for some, or make some, or buy some, or whatever the case may be. But since this roof is, well, on the cage, and it was made for a late model, there's a nice little bow in it, which is pretty sweet. It actually holds it up pretty nice. This is not long enough. See? Does not clear the bottom. So we need something to tie it in. So we're going to need rocker panels. I don't think I have any sheet metal that I can bend into it because I don't have anything long enough. I might have some aluminum that's long enough. We'll pause on that and see if we got any left. Otherwise, like I said, we're going to have to mirror that side to this side, which means take a piece of sheet metal, crimp it in the shrinker stretcher until it bends a bow down the side after we cut it and slide it backwards. Now we're going to fill the gap, like I mentioned before, with aluminum. Just kind of cut it to mirror this flanged edge. Same width, top and bottom, and just throw it on there and hope for the best. Making progress here. Still got a little excess to cut off, no big. Got a little bit of gap here like we mentioned. But this one came out probably a little bit better than the other side because, well, I had practice. Let's be fair. Anytime you do something for the second time, it's always going to be better than the first just because you know what you're doing. This, I don't know, I'm looking at this wheel. Looks pretty centered to me. Roof looks, well, as centered as I can possibly get it. I mean, you can only do so much by eye, you know? And when you don't have a second one or a second opinion hanging around at the moment, you got to kind of trust your instincts. I mean, take a look at this side here. Yeah, that's a little forward. I guess it could have come back a hair, but shoot. Well, if you do this, it looks a lot better, you know? See, hang on, let me pull it out. Now it looks better, right? Yeah. Sometimes, again, things are deceiving. I have to get the... Geez, what now? Crikey. What is next? So we got to just kind of keep rolling, you know? I think I might have goofed because I might have put it on a little crooked now that I look at it a little further. I don't think it'll really change a lot if I move it, because I think this is supposed to come like that a little bit. I don't know. I'll take a look. I moved it and nothing really changed. So, like I said on the last car, these are made to fit your car if it's a newer car, I guess. And it's made to fit a G chassis car. It's made to fit something like this. But this car's different. And if you take it off a car that has already had it installed on it and try to put it on a different car, you're going to have problems. You're going to face challenges where maybe it doesn't quite fit yours exactly the same and it doesn't go together exactly like it came off the other car. You're taking something off a G chassis car and putting it on a G chassis car that's made for a G chassis car and it doesn't quite fit. Like I said. So we're working on it. Back end's going to be a little funny. I might take a measurement from here to the wheel well because that side is markedly shorter and I wonder if somebody cut it short. I don't know. It looks a little funny. So I'm going to take some measurements. I might need to play with this length to get the rear tailpiece on. So it's just part of the process. As long as the damn thing is over the wheel well centered, I don't care. Well, guys, this thing would be like feature film length if I showed you every single thing that I've been doing, but this is going to be one of the longer episodes that I think I've done in a while. We got the back part kind of cut off, right? All these little stanchions and stuff. This stuff we're going to have to actually grind, which stinks. This car has far less in the way of like uprights. Like my other car, for some reason, had a bunch of them. This one, not as much. There's one down here, and that's it. So what our plan right now is we're going to take a look at it. I'd love to put it on the ground and just kind of see where the pockets sit and where the wheels end up. That way I can at least adjust the height of the body in the back by cutting this down or maybe moving it a little bit. So at least we got a motor and everything in here right now. We can use the weight of the car to drop it. And that'll give us a good idea of where the rear height is going to be on the roof. Personally, I don't think it's going to move much from here because, well, the roof's up there and this doesn't really do anything more than what the roof is already doing. But I managed to make a couple repairs. Nothing's really changed. That's why I didn't really go to time lapse on you guys. Only thing that's really changed is this thing just kind of moved around on me a little bit. Like I said, we got to brace it up like that so that it's not all sagged out. I did trim this piece and I basically repaired this because somebody had cut off this flange so you couldn't attach this rear cowl. It's like, what are you doing? I don't understand. Whatever. So we got that fixed. I do want to apologize. I know I'm talking an awful lot more than usual. But man, I am incredibly stressed out about getting this thing done. But we did make a lot of progress today. And that was after I came home from work. So I got the motor put back together. We got everything at least mechanically in place for the engine to run. It's just that we got to do a couple of things like oil and water. Drop a distributor in after we adjust valves and prime it. Got the throttle fixed, which was a big help. I repaired a little bit of a oopsie with a brake line. We got the body started. Got that quarter panel on. Got the rear deck lid started. So this is the kind of progress we need to make daily in order for us to get this thing done in time. And so far, so good. I'm not terribly worried. I am stressed, though, because I have other cars to get ready. But I think you all can understand. So my day off is tomorrow. I have a lot of stuff planned for the afternoon, so I have to be out here early. So I'll see you then. All right, it's the next day. We've decided to take this thing and pull the transmission out. We have to. I think it's a necessity. We can't really break a motor in and make sure the cam is actually okay by running it for 20 minutes when it sounds like the transmission's coming apart, you know? The car did move, it ran in drive, but it just doesn't sound good. Like, it sounds like something's going around in there, and I don't want to have the input shaft be turning on a broken transmission and, you know, for the engine to be running for 20 minutes with broken parts in there. It could cause all sorts of problems. I don't want to get into that. So we're going to pull the transmission out, replace it, or check to see if I can fix it. That's unfortunate necessity right now. Okay, guys. I figure I haven't been really doing a lot of work on camera because I've been absolutely thrashing here. But what I want to do is I want to, in real time, see what's maybe wrong with this thing or not wrong with it, I guess. So you're going to go along on the journey with me. You know, I appreciate the fact that when builders use like cap screws like these to try to be fancy when they rebuild stuff instead of using like factory stuff like this. But to be honest, it's completely unnecessary. It's just another trip to the hardware store, honestly. Okay, let's see if I can't get this thing open somehow. Oh no, I used black RTV on it. Oh, we're doomed. That sounded real bad. Oh, I think we got it. Finally. Good grief. If you're going to RTV something together, don't use the adhesive RTV. And they go by color. Black is typically adhesive RTV, which is really sticky stuff. If you need something to stay together forever, use that. If you need to pull something apart for inspection, like differential covers, or even like differentials like a Ford 9-inch, or these types of covers for a transmission, don't. I think the only reason I did it was because it was necessity. It was all I had. But that was a while ago, so... Oh! This transmission's done. Yep, she's done. Second gear toast. Nope, cluster gear's done too. Yep, we're not even going to touch this one. Let me bring you in here and give you a good look. Yeah, she's toast. Got the cluster gear too. You can see the teeth missing down there. I have this isn't a 168 Saginaw. I have another cluster gear sitting on the shelf right there that's fresh. And I even have the output shaft for a 168 as well. But the problem is, the only gear that I don't have is that one. Which really sucks. Because if it was like 189, I would actually have the correct gear. I think it's this one right here. Yeah, I think I need a 24 tooth, but this one's a 23. And I don't feel like making it a 189 because then it's useless. Maybe I'll go... Ooh, goodness. That thing is hurt. I'm not going to rebuild this. I have another one on the shelf over there somewhere underneath the box, probably where all that plastic wrap is. That's where it is. I'm going to wait for an answer from my brother, see what he wants to do because it's his car. See if he wants to go with a 168, or I can go grab my cast iron Muncie 3-speed, which people are like, huh? Yeah, they did make them. I have a cast iron Muncie 3-speed with a 157 second gear. Those things are absolute beef. They are 20 pounds heavier than a Saginaw, and the internals, if you look at them, there's your reason. But yeah, this transmission's junk. I'm going to start the process of stripping it for resources, like the mount, this clutch rod, or clutch locator for the throwout bearing, and wait for a response. So here's its replacement. I pulled this off the shelf in my transmission cove, and this is an old 168. I bought it off a buddy of mine. He said, hey, I got this thing sitting in my garage that's been here for probably decades collecting dust. I don't have any use for it. Why don't you come take it off my hand. So I gave him a couple $100. And just look at this thing. It is perfect on the inside. I mean, I moved these shifter dogs and they're perfect. The selectors are just clean. Everything is spotless. I mean, there's not even anything in the bottom of it. There's a little bit of oil, barely any, but that's okay. We're going to fill it up anyway. This thing is perfect. I'm just going to seal the door up. I'm not even going to open it, touch it, do anything to it. We're just going to slap it in the car because we don't have any time. So I'm going to put the dowel pin method to use here. We're going to take the transmission and just kind of slide it in on dowel pins like I usually do. Getting it into this car really kind of stinks, though. The way that it's built, like I said, it was built in the 90s as a late model, so it's really kind of compacted in there. Let me show you. This thing still has a panel that you can take out for the top of the transmission because people used to, like, I don't know, pull it out from the top for some reason. I don't know why. But I couldn't get the cross member out without taking the exhaust out. So I said, well, I could probably just angle it down in that hole there, but the floor was in the way. Then I remembered I had the panel that I could just take out. So it's on Zeus buttons, and I could just take it out, tip the rear tail shaft up, and get it in. So it's not too bad. It's not like my other cars where I can literally throw it at the car and it'll just go in. But anyway, like I said, I'm just kind of dealing with something a little antiquated. That's fine. It is what it is. So I got to get under there and start stuffing a transmission in, and I hope that my arms don't give out. Transmission's in. Whew. Shifters are also kind of fixed. They're not exactly the way I want it. Again, packaging in this car is very difficult, but it's actually better than it was before. We actually can use a more standardized pattern, so that's good. I got to pick up all this crap. Also, I might have found the clutch to be a little too close together. Like the throwout bearing and the clutch on these things, if you don't have like a really thin flywheel or clutch or pressure plate or whatever the hell you got, the hydraulic throwout can be a little packed into the teeth of the throwout or the pressure plate, and it could cause the clutch to slip. So you almost sometimes have to actually space the bell housing or transmission back, and that's kind of what I did here with like a very thin washer. It's really didn't need much. I got to get back in and get the panel put back on. I think all my tools are in there. And I'm going to test everything out, make sure that the clutch is okay and that the brakes work and the shifter works. Then the mechanical part of this should be pretty good, except for getting the motor broke in. But again, that needed to be done in order for that to get done. Since we got some mechanical work done and everything's starting to look a lot better there, I am trying to tackle how to get this body straight on here. And doing this without a gantry, without a jig, without any other sets of eyes to look at it, is kind of hard. And I'm kind of going by how the car is built. At this moment, I think that the body is too far to that side and this side is too far back. And that would account for a lot of inconsistencies that I'm seeing with how it's set on the car. This side, right now, I'm starting to move it around and I'm starting to see issues. Like, this side is actually a lot further forward than that side would be, but that would make sense if the whole roof and quarter was pushed back. You know what I mean? Because then it would be further forward on here. Like here, we got like this much of a gap, and that's probably, what, 3 inches? Come over to this side, and it's like double that. So, and then I look at the windshield. And the reason why we have to cut and section this is because this windshield is the posts are way too far forward, but that's just an older car. That's how they were built. These uprights are a little more stood up. This one is set back a bit. That one is poking out. So I think we got to take this filler panel out, which was already in here. I trimmed it to fit, but apparently that's not correct because it's holding up that corner over there. I'm going to drill the rivets out, see if I can't finagle this thing. Because to move this quarter panel back, it's not like I have to do a lot of work. I have to drill out like, 8 rivets and just kind of pull it and slide it back and reuse the same holes, just drill through the backing. It's fine. It's just fitment is kind of an issue right now. All right, putting her on the ground has told me all the stories I need to hear because this is exactly where I want the roof. It is as centered on the cage as humanly possible. I wouldn't mind kicking up the quarters just a little bit, but it's not too bad. You can see it's actually pretty equal on both sides. It's pretty equal side to side as well now. I'm a lot happier with it. I come over to this side and this rear is centered. I come around to the other side and my suspicions are correct. That is not centered because that is way up against it and there's a big gap up front. So now I know what do we have to do here. We have to get it like the other side, so we'll pull these rivets out. Unfortunately, I had to put them in, but 8 rivets is a lot cheaper than having an ugly body. And this isn't such a bad thing. So we'll just get these drilled out. We're not going to hurt the fiberglass by doing this. We're just going to reuse all the same holes, slide her on back, put her in the right spot. Quick fitment update. I got this slid back. I measured it with a tape measure for the overlap from the front and rear. Now matches that side. It didn't before by quite a bit. I figured that's probably wrong, and I probably did it wrong. Now it actually matches. And the fender well, yeah, it's pretty good. It's a little deceiving because it's cut out more in the back. And this is really kind of actually backwards like this, like they didn't cut it straight down. That's pretty close. As long as this is on, it's fine. I put 2 rivets in the roof. Now I can't mess it up. So this can swing from the side to side, but I can't actually tweak it. So now we got to start putting stanchions in. Filler panels. Get it to settle, where it's going to sit. Like up here is probably right. And as long as we can get the back on and we get the filler panels in and stuff, then we can really start making progress. This was the hard part. Like you remember on my other video, maybe I'll remember to put it up there. Last time I forgot. A bunch of times before that I probably did too. But that's the hard part, is just getting it on so that we can set it. What a piecemeal day today was. I had a tour of Connecticut. I got work done on the car. We fixed the transmission, but I got to call it for today because I have not seen my family all day. Well, I saw half of it, but not, my actual personal one. So I got to go see them. And I'm going to be out here tomorrow thrashing again. This is going to be a hugely long video, but I don't care. This was a fun project and a stressful one. And it's going to continue to be so until I finish it, which we're going to continue tomorrow. Okay, back again. And focus today is going to be on the back half of the car. We got to get that shelf built, and we also got to put the struts up from the cage to hold the back end up. Like I said, this is all exactly the same thing that I just did on my old car, just now I have to do it on this car. So that's the plan. It's kind of funny because, my brother went and he bought steel, like all that stuff up there. There's like roll bar material and 1 inch and then 1/2 inch square and some aluminum angle, and I haven't used any of it yet. Not a bit. I used a scrap piece of roll bar material that I had that probably wasn't long enough to really do anything more than just repair stuff, and I used it for that. Well, that. And seemed to work pretty well. I didn't have much left over, but I think, and also, it's kind of funny, I'll show you this. I had cut out this piece and this piece on the floor here of square material, and there's even more outside that's just kind of sitting there. It's got some pop rivet, holes in it from drilling into it, but like, I have so much of this square material that I could use to build these body braces, and we haven't even dipped into the collection yet. So we're going to end up with all sorts of leftover material, which I think is kind of funny. So, whatever. We'll get into this pile eventually, but you know, we're just going to keep using what we got for now. Like always, excuse the mess, but this looks like it's pretty solid. Got that patch panel just kind of riveted in a little bit. Doesn't look too bad. Again, there ain't any replacement for experience. And after having done this on my other car, I kind of got an idea of what to do. So it's just that this one's going to be a little different because of having to move stuff like this quarterback. But again, it's nothing I can't handle. Where experience still matters is doing the dashboard too. Remember how I did it in the other car? Didn't rip the old one out, just kind of put this one in. Yep. Same exact thing. Look at it line up. Look at it see. I mean, this thing is just mint. I'm very happy with it, you know. Like I said, it's just kind of, it's fulfilling. It really is. So I got to get this thing riveted in, and I got to build a companion side. What's cool is the old hood mounts for the old body line right up with the cowl. Look at that. It's perfect. I didn't even have to build them. So there we go. Less work for me to do. I'm going to go measure because there's wires coming right through the middle where that post is right there. We're going to just leave that open. I'll probably just, I don't know, throw some tape around it to keep rubber and stuff out. Go on the other side, get that cleaned up, put another piece down. There's a crush panel over there that's kind of flared up. I'm going to bash it down so that it fits. And hopefully we can have this thing riveted in, done. We can have the dash and the front part of the roof kind of secure. And I mean, if the back part's secure and the front part's secure, that means the roof is on the car and we can start working our way forward and down and all around. We don't have to worry about positioning. We can just worry about making things. And that's a big step forward. Dash panels are cut, bent, and fitted. They both are just phenomenal. I'm so glad I got the experience on the other car so that I could do this the right way. It's going to come out probably the same, maybe a little better. Went with a semi-gloss black, not dry because it's too cold out. It is what it is. You don't want too much shine. Don't go for the gloss on the dashboard. Flat, semi-gloss, probably. Anyway, yeah, we're here at this point. I've got the hood tied down. Got the panels made. Just got to let them dry. Roof is tied up right there. Back deck lid's done. I even brought the bumper cover in, and I don't know where it went. I think I threw it back outside. And I was starting to kind of see where it fits. It's going to be kind of weird. I might have to build the bumper up slightly, like stack a couple of these bumper sleeves. And I don't know yet. It's kind of tough, but this is as done as I can get today. And this thing is just like the other car. It is essentially you're eating the elephant. How do you get through it? One piece at a time. I know it's an old trope or dad joke, but it is exactly that. So, like I said, I think the hard part is over, except for doing ducting. I hate doing duct work, but we'll get to that way later. If I get the greenhouse set on the car, we're really doing something right, and I think we're there. Now it's time to just kind of knuckle down and start making crush panels, start making filler for that side that we had to slide back, the quarter panels on both sides. And then basically just, we're probably going to have to trim the front fenders because the whole thing is kind of shifted backwards. So, I don't know. We got a lot to do, but I don't know how much we'll get to in this video. I don't know if I'll be back tomorrow, but I'm still waiting on parts. So, I'll see you when I see you. Okay, I made it out for the last day. Got to hang my keys up. I got help on the way. And it looks like my paint dried for the dashboard components. So I'm just going to keep working on the body until they show up. Well, it's my brother. It's his car, so he's going to bring me some stuff. hopefully we can at least get to getting the engine running and break it in today, because it's a pretty good day for it. Nice and clear. There's no rain. Kind of cool. We can put some fans up and get it blowing through the radiator. Make sure it doesn't overheat. And we got a pretty controlled area. So we're going to try to do that if that time allows. But I'm going to keep working here until he gets here, and then we're going to shift focus. All right, help has arrived. At least car owner has arrived. Help has arrived. We're working on the motor because, well, it's a lovely day and it's still, you know, sunshiny. So that means it's not too late for us to fire this thing up and annoy the neighborhood.
No
So,
metal shavings in my rear end.
yeah, you don't want metal in your
Buttocks.
seat. So we're gonna, crikey, we're gonna just mix some oil up with some braking oil, and we're gonna stuff that in here, prime it, adjust the valves, drop a distributor in it once I find top dead center. Hopefully we get it close, and grab a timing light and send it. And we're gonna see what happens.
Engine work is already in fact, so we don't have to put that on the list.
Well, yeah, that's what we're working on right now, but we got a list going, and doesn't seem too bad, except it's all fabrication except for a couple little things. Like, we literally have body and glass. I'd say so. That's a lot.
That's not a lot of words for the amount of work you have to do. I mean,
Yeah.
we have to.
We've got it up. We're up against it right now, kind of. So hopefully we get this thing set. If the engine comes out good,
If
that's
not,
kind
the
of
seat's
everything.
Going in the red car.
Yeah, well, the red car is sitting there ready, and, well, it looks green, but it's red. It's ready. We just got to put lead in it, but, you know, fingers crossed this one works so we don't have to deal with it. We'll have to check for leaks as we go, but this is first fire up, so fingers crossed, toes crossed, everything crossed. Here we go. Oh, there's still gas. Good. Yeah. Still too much.
Hey. of fuel.
It's good.
315.
What is it?
315.
335.
Okay.
Check-in. I don't like how much noise the valve train's making, but it could be me. I don't know. It's also getting a little warm. It's like 200. I might have to take and blow a leaf blower on it, or grab an air hose, or maybe the hose, like a water hose, because that would really take the temps down. I don't know yet. I don't want it to get over 210 though, so I'll check back with you when we're done. We pulled the rocker covers off, or valve covers, whatever you want to call them, and checked it, make sure everything was good. Everything seemed fine. I checked all the lash. It sounded like it was making a little bit of noise, but I think that was a little unfounded. So it sounds fine. We're going to have to pull the oil and filter and just make sure there's no metal in it, just to doubly sure that this thing's not going bad. Clearly, if there was a wiped cam lobe or something, you'd probably feel a little bit of a rocker being flat, but I didn't feel anything. So I'm letting it cool off all the way. And radiator held pressure. I had a question about that. I don't think the alternator's charging. I had a suspicion that the alternator wouldn't charge because this back post is really loose, and I don't know if I could rev it up to excite it enough or if it's just not working. Next time we fire it up, I'll check it and make sure that if I rev it up, does it excite and does it start charging again, or is there something wrong with it? Because this post is really not good. You can see. I have a backup plan. I don't know if it'll work, but otherwise, everything seems to be okay. It only got up to about 210. I noticed that the radiator fan has a little gap right here. I don't like it, so I'm probably going to pull that off. It's only zip tied on. Pull the washers or whatever's in there, because a radiator fan, if there's a gap, it'll pull air through the gap instead of through the radiator. It needs to be sealed off. And if you have like a shroud, it needs to be completely sealed off so that it pulls through the radiator. So we'll have to fix that as well. For angle, I don't even know. I'm just doing it by
70 usually.
70, Jesus
60.
Christ. No, we got that bumper behind you, which has all them weird angles in it.
That's how you're making the curve, like the.
Looks like a 45-degree curve, isn't it? The first one.
Oh, the first one, yeah.
The one with the tail light.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I have a freaking bender from the Harbor Freight of Circle Track Racing, which is Speedway Motors.
Yeah, I could use a ruler or something, but you know what? I drank that part of high school away already.
Yep, I'm just gonna bend it. I don't know. 10, 20. I can
Buddy.
put it back in there, right?
Hey, bud. Yeah. Just hit it on the ground if you have to reset it.
Samsung phone?
Yeah.
Whoa. I don't really need it anymore. You wanna know why? Go on.
I can't.
Guess what phone this
So, we're really bad at bending bars, and this is proof positive again that we still aren't that good at it.
You saw our measurements, right?
Yeah.
We didn't do any.
No, we didn't do any. We just did it by eye.
A little bit. I mean, especially the curvature
if
part.
we center it up, it's honestly not bad. Like, that's pretty close. That's pretty close, but we bent it too far, right?
Which way do we bend too far?
Well, both the edges are too far in. So
Okay.
I got a fix for that. Get yourself a trailer. This one might not work. I think I gotta do it up here.
Technologia.
I'm doing TikTok videos over here. Oh, I'm just waiting to fall down. If I got to use literal all my body weight. Okay.
Matching it to the curvature of this rear bumper.
It's not bad.
That's
It's not
kind
good.
of munged up anyway.
It's not good, but it's not bad. It's also probably going to pull in a little bit if I remember the way the car is set up. So I think what we do is hack it here, use the ends as the part that we put in the frame to, you know, mount the thing, and there, we're done. What do you think?
That's good, yeah.
However, I think we've run out of time for this week. At least we got a bunch done on our final day. I didn't even know if we were going to be able to make it out here, which is pretty good. I didn't see a single leak with that engine, and I had serious doubts about how I fixed the front main seal because it's got a one-piece oil pan gasket in it, and I accidentally ripped out the front main seal, and that's not great. So I used half a tube of RTV and a stock rubber like front main seal because it came in the gasket kit, and I let it sit and harden for a few days before we fired it up. It seems to be fine. It's bone dry. I'm like, dang, you know, previous experience, at least that helped me out. There's not a single leak on this thing. So knock on wood, this thing actually, oh, there's some right there. Knock on wood, this thing actually seems to be pretty good. So we'll time it later. We'll set everything later. We still got a lot to do and not a lot of time to get it done. So I think that's hard part over. I was just really worried about the engine not being good. So thank you guys for watching and tuning in for this new adventure as well. I got the day off of work, so we are going to New Hampshire, whether we race this car or that one. It doesn't really matter at this point. We're going. Tell your friends, tell your family if they think they'd enjoy this. Tell your friends, tell your family if you think they'd enjoy something like this. Whole lot of race car work, but we're going to be doing a whole lot of race car driving in about a month or so. Well, a little more than a month. And I promise a lot more action in the future, but this is how it is. This is exactly what it's like when you own a race car, especially if you do it yourself. And there's nothing you can't do if you try hard enough. And that's kind of what I've been saying on this channel all along, is trying to get people inspired to do things on their own and try to do this type of thing if that's what they want to do. Trust me, like I said, I'm not a person who works in an automotive industry. I do not do fabrication work. I do not do mechanics. I do not do engineering. I do not do welding, anything. I don't do anything of this sort for my job. I do it as a hobby, and you know what? If I can do it, so can you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, this is going to be an ongoing project as well, just like we did with the red car, and I'll see you next time.